Guys, it is about that time. We are almost through the basic fundamentals in advertising for beginners. And here we go. What platform should I use to scale my business? It's pretty simple. Before you even start, you need to have these 4 things, and we're going to break them down further just so that you make sure you have a clear understanding as you're starting to roll this out for yourself. First things first, you have to have a strong offer that works cold, and by works cold, I mean if you just told a random stranger on the street, would they have interest given knowing everything that they can about your product or service and how it's being proposed to them, right? So like say for instance, like, hey, obviously you're right here right now. I'd love to do this for you and I'll give you 20% off, right? Of course you can market that broadly online, on billboards, whatever, doesn't matter. If people will take you up on the offer that don't know you, don't know your business, and have never heard of you before or what you do, then it works cold, okay? So it has to be so good, people would feel stupid saying no to it, and that is a really core principle of making marketing work quickly. The second thing, like we said in a couple previous videos, you really have to take inventory of your assets on hand. You need to understand what you need and what you have, because if you don't need what you have and you don't have what you need, it's gonna be very, very hard to get this up and running easily. So, maybe you have Instagram for your business, maybe you have a website, but maybe you don't have an ad account, and maybe you don't have any ads created to run the actual ad for, right? So you have to take into consideration what you already have and what you need so that you can get those things together so that you can, make progress without having to stop abruptly along the way. Then you need to make sure, like we just covered in the last video, that your target market is dialed in. I cannot stress that enough. And then lastly, you got to make sure your goal is clear. So to break it down a little further, my biggest recommendation for everybody is you need to be driving email collection. The reason being is email is the most direct to consumer and low pressure way to connect with people who are interested in giving you money or learning more about what you do, right? And it is the least expensive way to market. Like I said in a previous video, it takes 1/100th of a dollar. Or sorry, not 100th, 1,000th, 1/10th of a penny to send an email to someone. If you can do that instead of spending $20, $30, $40 on a retargeting ad that you don't even know who made the purchase, but on email you would because you know exactly who you sent the email to, has all the same data tracking and even better, why would you not do that? It's more cost effective for the same result. It will increase your profitability, I guarantee you that. So a couple different things to collect emails, whether you have a product-based business or a service-based business. For product-based businesses, percentages off, it's pretty standard. If you ever go to a website, whether it be like Neiman Marcus or Allo or Target, you probably see pop-ups all the time about, save X% off your first order. That is a lead magnet in an effort to get your email, right? Happens time and time again. You probably feel silly realizing that that's what you were doing now, but that's also why it works and why so many people do it. The other thing to consider is a freemium, right? Some online product-based businesses, for example, Victoria's Secret, they give away tote bags whenever you spend $100 or $200 or whatever. It's to get people to want to spend that kind of money to get a free product, right? I have to spend $200 to get something for free. It's not really free, but people fall for it all the time. Another prime example of, a really strong offer. Next thing, lead magnets or guides. My protein company, one of the things that we're actively putting out right now is a recipe book for people who are wanting to try it so that they can see, hey, you can take protein and it doesn't have to taste awful and it also doesn't have to be super high calorie. So those types of things work very well too, especially for product-based businesses. Now, as far as services go, whether it be home services, professional services like attorneys, accountants, doctors, what have you, lead magnets or guides are really great. So, uncover whether or not Botox is for you. Get your tax prep ready with this guide on everything we need to get your taxes done quickly. Or, get your free roof assessment. We'll be on site and get you a quote in less than 24 hours, right? Those types of things work very well. The other thing is consultations a lot of the time work well too. The problem is they don't have a very high conversion rate typically. It doesn't mean they don't work, but anything you can do to get that email, give it a shot. Marketing, like I said, is a lot of following the scientific method. Just because one experiment goes great doesn't mean it can't do even better. You should constantly be testing new offers to see what works best. gets you the highest conversion rate, meaning the highest amount of people who see it buy, and so that you can ultimately make more money because, again, albeit it's not the goal, it is a byproduct, and that byproduct helps keep your business afloat and puts food on your table. So next thing we want to focus on here, again, the assets on hand. Do you have your ad platforms set up? Are they verified? Do you have an email service provider? Do you have a website or landing page that you're going to be driving traffic to? Do you have a payment processor? Do you have your customer list? Do you have content for ads and organic posting? All of this stuff absolutely matters, especially when it comes to the ad platforms and email service provider. Those are going to be the mechanisms that make your process irrelevant, grow your customer list, leverage your content, or where you are ultimately going to be able to continually send traffic so that you can convert more online. Cannot reiterate this enough. Targeting is so important. If you do not have product market fit, you will not have a business for very long. You need to understand your customers, do your market research, get their background, understand their interests, and I mean everything they're interested in, because you never know where you'll be able to actually get a higher profitability from your advertising to your target audience whenever you're getting them when it's irrelevant to what you do or what you even have to offer, right? Just proved that in the last video. It is very important for you to understand this as a business owner. Lastly, you want to understand the core income demographics of your target audience and what their price sensitivity is to your type of product or service. Last thing relative to targeting, you have to also understand which platforms most of your ideal audience spends the most time on. There was a study that we did before COVID, and we found that of the average consumer, about 8 to 10 hours a day were spent online in front of a screen. Pardon me. That being said, of that 8 to 10 hours, 80% was on social media. That's Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook. Doesn't matter. They're on social media for a third of their day. And the last 2 hours on average is broken up between phone calls, texting, emails, and surfing the web on Google, right? So if you know that 8 to 10 hours a day, you can take to the bank that your target audience is spending time in those places, why would you not also spend time in those places as a business trying to get their business, right? Take that into consideration because, like I said in one of the previous videos, as it relates to targeting, different platforms have different costs associated with customer acquisition and how much you have to pay to get a new customer. Google is typically more expensive than Facebook and Instagram. Reason being is more people spend time on Facebook and Instagram, and they're also seeing more ads at a higher frequency by comparison to the amount of ads they see whenever they're on Google for far less time, right? Same thing with like LinkedIn, for instance. LinkedIn is like Google and Facebook put together, and it is very expensive, but if you can get a $100,000 deal out of a connection you make using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you're spending $99 a month on it, that's incredibly worthwhile, right? It's all about understanding where you have the most leverage based off of where you have either a presence already or where you're looking to grow the most. The next thing to focus on here is making sure that the platforms you want, and I cannot stress this enough because it's the final point, make sure the platforms that you want to leverage to grow your business actually help you work towards your goal and not away from it. So say for instance, right, you are a medical services provider, and say for instance, you do Botox. Spending money marketing on LinkedIn by comparison to hitting the same audience on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even Google does not align. Yes, professionals, I'm sure, really care about their appearance, right? But you probably care more about how profitable you are. And you can also still do things on that platform that don't cost you an arm and a leg financially to get those same customers, right? So you really want to figure out is where can I get the same customer the cheapest, right? Because it's the same person at the end of the day, right? We all use different social medias. I spend the most time on Instagram. It's where I have the biggest following. It's where I'm the most connected with my friends. I have Snapchat, never use it. I have Facebook, kind of, and LinkedIn. I'm probably on Instagram and LinkedIn more than anything, but by far, I spend way more time on Instagram than anywhere else, right? If I see an ad for someone, and I see it on every platform, I guarantee you, with the amount of experience I have in this space, they will convert me for the least amount of dollars on Instagram. Because the frequency of use is the highest, I'm hit with the most ads, and also the platform has the most data out of all of these platforms to leverage. They have the most data points to say that what I'm interested in resonates with whatever they're trying to target, right? What you care about is growing the business inexpensively so that you can actually get ahead using these fundamental principles. We have now covered the 4 fundamentals, top to bottom. There's a lot more content coming into the course. I hope you've enjoyed it so far and have something that you can implement today. If you have interest, need, or any questions relative to getting started, I would love to help you do that. Just go into the Skool resources and there should be a sheet and you can book a free consultation with me, and then I'd love to learn more about you, your business, and your business goals and see how we can help you out. Hope you have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon.